Between 2013 and 2015, the LDS Church produced a series of essays dealing with sticky religious topics in the LDS Church. They're known as the Gospel Topics Essays. Dr. Newell Bringhurst and Dr. Matt Harris have produced an anthology that will be released later this summer, critiquing these Gospel Topics essays. In our next conversation, Dr. Bringhurst will tell us more about the work that he's been putting together on these essays. Check out our conversation. I'd also like to remind you that if you'd like a transcript of this conversation with Dr. Bringhurst, please subscribe on our website. For just $10 a month, you'll be the first to receive a transcript, as well as all future transcripts from now on. Now back to our conversation. So one thing I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, so your presentation was on the Gospel Topics essay.
Yes, yes.
So tell us a little bit more about that book. What are the topics and what are kind of your areas?
Oh, well, we go through all of the Gospel Topics, all 13 Gospel Topics essays, so it's composed of 13 chapters. I probably should pull out my notes so I could remember the name of all the contributors. We start with the Book of Mormon, and looking at, the historicity of the Book of Mormon. That was critiquing that essay, critiquing the essay on the DNA and the authenticity of the Book of Mormon. And then, of course, the different accounts. We critiquing the essay that was written on the various accounts of the first vision, the historicity and authenticity of the Book of Abraham, which is another very controversial topic, looking at violence and peace and violence along the Mormon frontier. John Turner, who's did the biography on Brigham Young, did the essay on that for us. He kind of a marquee figure. I mean, he really did an outstanding job. He's kind of in looking at the whole issue of violence and how it involved the saints. Although I think one of the strongest essays in there is Gary Bajera, who presented at he's done Joseph Smith and and his involvement with polygamy, and of course he has a much different spin on on whether Joseph had sex with those other women.
I'm going to Gary's a local, so he'll be.
Yeah, I mean, and then George Smith is doing the second essay on polygamy. There are three of them on polygamy. The second essay is on polygamy and families in early Utah, going up to the manifesto. And then myself, I'm doing the one on the post-manifesto polygamy, polygamy after 1890, and then we've got two essays that deal with women. Mother in Heaven, which is being done by a couple of young scholars. Klein, I think, was one of the scholars. Steinblank, they're both PhD candidates down at Claremont Graduate School, a couple of our younger scholars. And then Margaret Toscano is doing it on temple worship, the priesthood, and Joseph Smith's views on those issues. That she did her thing at Sunstone the other day. Mm-hmm. Really a super essay. She's, again, one of the stronger essays in the volume. So that pretty much covers it. I don't.
Matt Harris, don't forget.
And I don't forget Matt Harris, which is another very strong essay on blacks in the priesthood. And so each of those are a critique done by a different author. And I'm really excited about that volume. I think it's going to, you just hope your book's going to fly off the shelves. I hope it enjoys a wide interest and a good readership, because I think we've got some really solid contributors that have agreed, that wrote those essays for us. They're all complete, mm-hmm. and we're just waiting publication.
When do you think it'll be published?
We're hoping early next year, early 2018.
Okay. Well, I'll be one of the first in line for that.
So anyway, I don't know what much more I could say. I think we pretty well covered
I think
it.
so. I think so.
I think you probably well exhausted me in terms of what I had to say. Although I could go into the quest for the presidency, but that's
we'll save that for
another time, because Joseph Smith as a presidential candidate, that's kind of an interesting episode, and it really fits in with what he was doing during the last years of his life. As I explained at dinner tonight, I was intrigued with that Larson. I still can't remember his first name. Your fellow podcast, John Larson. That he was trying to make the comparisons between Donald Trump and Joseph Smith. I thought he had some interesting speculative ideas, but I thought he was sometimes short on evidence, and I think he was even somewhat inaccurate in some of the statements he made too. It was, as I say, the people there and these millennials, they really ate it up. They thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread.
All right. Well, we'll save something for next time.
Yeah.
If I ever get out there, I have been to a Fresno State game before, so
okay.
It could happen. I might have to come out.
Yeah, if you got more questions, you probably pretty well got what you needed out of me.
All right. Well, thank you, Newell. I really appreciate this, and appreciate your time on Gospel Tangents.
Yeah. Well, good luck.
I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Dr. Newell Bringhurst. I'd like to thank Newell for spending so much time talking with us about such a wide variety of topics. Thanks again, Newell. Really appreciate it. I'd also like to remind everybody that for just $10 a month, you can be the first to receive a copy of this transcript. It's available on our website. So just please subscribe. Click the yellow button and subscribe on our website. Also, if you just like this transcript, you can purchase it in a few days on our website, or you can go to Amazon.com and check and search for Gospel Tangents, and it will be available on our page there as well. So please check that out. In our next conversation, I'd like to introduce Dr. Bill Smith. He's just come out with a brand new book on polygamy and Doctrine and Covenants 132. It's a textual criticism of it. It's pretty interesting. So in our next conversation, one of the questions I asked him was, is the Bible compatible with the Doctrine and Covenants 132?
And trying to connect them, I think, historically is probably impossible and probably a mistake theologically. We try to do it, but I don't think I think it's a dangerous practice, really.
Thank you so much for listening. Make sure that you like our page on Facebook.com/GospelTangents. You can subscribe at YouTube@YouTube.com/GospelTangents. We're also on Twitter @GospelTangents, as well as make sure that you subscribe on iTunes so you don't miss any of our episodes. Thanks again for listening. Click here to subscribe, here for a transcript, and over here you'll see some more of our videos. Thanks again.